Chris, I do have to say that you're an incredibly good sport for letting me talk shit that day. With
Always.
love.
That was funny.
With
It was
love.
a good pod. It was a good
My
pod.
wife goes, "You're such an asshole." She's like, "I can't believe you did that." I was like, he knows I still love him. I have to give him a hard time though. Dude, you are so funny, man. I'll tell you what, like you really do kind of have that corgi appearance a little bit.
That's
Whatever.
That's totally
Whatever, man. I wish I had the cake like him. I got this bony like nobody else. He's got this nice thick cake.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 34 of 2024. I'm Chris Louie, and we are officially back to school. With me, I have my co-host Uncle Barbecue, who's back from visiting the Great North. How was it, and did you get to stay at that fancy basketball player hotel again?
Yeah, no fancy basketball, at least floor hotel. No, I stayed at a residence inn that may or may not have had bed bugs, which is cool, right? You know, gotta liven things up a little bit. But I will say, Minnesota this time of the year is wild. It's beautiful, great weather. It wasn't even humid. I can see why people live there right now. Not so much when it's negative 60 out, but right now is a good +1 for sure.
So when you get those snowbirds, you go down to Florida for the winters.
Exactly. I don't blame him, man. Can't shovel sunshine.
Yep, that is true. And we have Glenn Medina, or should we call him Defending Daughter Glenn, or DDG. Have you had to physically threaten Victor yet?
Nah, it's all in good jest. You know, Victor he's gay anyway, so it really isn't a threat.
He's harmless.
You know, like outside of the significant age difference between Victor and my daughters, like there are a lot worse people for my daughters to go after than Victor. Not that they're interested at all. They're like, ew. Sorry, Victor. They're not having it, bro.
He does make wrong choices about cars, though. Some of the cars choices, yeah. How do you go from was it an Audi
to
a
Audi.
Mazda? Yeah, a Mazda to a Mazda at that, right? So it's like
You get tired of all the oil leaks.
yeah.
It is. A quart of
When
oil every
he
1,000
said
miles.
Yeah, how does that happen? I don't understand how Audis can do that in the year 2024. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's very poor German engineering. That's how.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I have a Mercedes and I don't do that. I've never.
I know. My
had to
Bugatti doesn't burn any
nice.
oil
Exactly.
at all.
Brag.
Yeah.
My Model S
Yeah.
Plaid
My
doesn't even
G7.
need oil.
My 1974, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
More like my bicycle doesn't need oil. Just air in the tires, buddy.
A little bit of lube on the chain. You'll need a little bit. Keep that up and running.
You know, they said saying lube on the podcast wouldn't happen, but Chris made it happen.
I did.
no kidding.
I did, and I kept
You
it
did.
PG.
Somewhat.
No guest this week, but next week will be another live episode of the PEBCAK, so be sure to tune in for that. There will very
Where we
likely
going?
be a guest and a 100% chance that a bunch of people will catch COVID.
Oh, that's not good.
Or just catch a cold.
Yeah,
The
just
flu.
treat it like the flu.
Yeah.
Combined, we have decades of information security experience here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
For those of you listeners out there, just be prepared to have Chris for next week's show behind a mask. So it's guaranteed. Probably one of those N100 masks that have that respirator built in.
And then the week after he goes, my immunity system's defenseless or undefeatable.
It is undefeatable.
I can't catch COVID because I take all the proper precautions.
Precautions.
Yeah.
Precautions.
Do you think Bane would have caught
Precautions.
COVID?
Who?
Bane.
Bane.
Yeah.
Would have been hard. Yeah, he had a
Would've been hard.
respirator, didn't he?
Like, oh, I was wondering who would catch COVID first.
Oh, God. Everyone
Also
just
worth
clicked
it.
off.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. This week, we're going to talk about U.S. election integrity, Google adding enterprise browser features. For our third topic, your social security number just got leaked, and close with AirPods talk. For our first topic, a pair of dueling headlines came across my feed over the last 2 weeks. Iran is believed to be behind attacks against the Democratic and Republican national committees here in the U.S. When Iran attacked Trump's campaign, it is believed they were going after opposition research conducted against vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance. The attacks against the DNC show a common attack method of breaching low-level individuals within the organization and using that access to try to fish higher-ranking officials with more access. So do you think we're going to get another repeat of 2016 and we're going to get this slow drip of embarrassing emails coming out, or do you think this is a big nothing burger?
I'm sure there'll be like a Russia dossier and people being paid off, and what else? Laptops missing. I have no idea. Yes.
Does anyone ever really care? I mean, just looking at this is like, this is all just fake news, right? And it's news and it's fake news. It's mixed in there, and I think people are just so desensitized by it at this point in time.
Yeah, I think at this point in the political process, there's the never Trumpers, there's the never Biden Harrises, and then there's the people in the middle, and those are the people that they need to convince the swing, but the moderates in the swing voter states. And
it's either red till I'm dead or blue no matter who, right?
Right. And then it's like, are these headlines really going to sway that core group? Because the people on the left are going to hear what they want to hear. The people on the right are going to hear what they want to hear. So the independents, do they really care about this opposition research dossier? Or is it more like, I can't afford to buy groceries anymore, so none of this matters?
I think there's this a crazy amount of people that might just be single issue voters. And then you have to wonder, will they give that up? Like, let's say their stance on abortion is one way or the other. I think it'll look the other way if they're like, man, groceries are more expensive. My rent is insane, right? I think
but abortion's important. So,
but no, I mean, it is important to them, right? Whichever way they go with it. But at some point in time, they're gonna be like, you know what? Maybe I don't really care about this. I need food in my belly. Otherwise, you can't procreate with anybody. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm a single issue voter. It's whoever puts the most money or leaves me with the most money in my pocket after taxes.
Solid plan. Yeah. It just feels like it's just nothing but a bunch of smear campaigns, right? Who can say the most grotesque thing about the other campaign, and then that's what you get.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming a race to the bottom, and I don't know if that's really resonating. I think the more recent polling is, and I don't want to turn this into a political podcast, but the most recent polling says that, some of the leading candidates, after they changed some of their rhetoric to be more soft, that seemed to resonate a lot better. And I think things have gotten out of hand, I would say, maybe in the last election, and I think people are like ready to take a softer tone to that. And I think that's where the AI comes into it. People thought that 2020 would be the year of AI deepfakes and people saying outrageous things that weren't true anymore, and maybe that might happen this time around, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a threat as people thought it was, like back in 2020.
Well, I think everybody knows, and some people have taken it to the extreme, not extreme, but just the funny extreme with the parodies. Have you seen the one Elon Musk had?
Yeah, I saw that.
Kamala Harris.
he said, I checked with, what was it? Like, I checked with legal scholar Sugan D's nuts, and he says parody's legal.
Did you guys see that Joe Rogan's like suing some mainstream media for like $30 million?
For what? The
defamation. So they stitched together two separate like thought tracks that he had. One was on Kamala Harris, and the other one was on I think Tulsi Gabbard. Uh-huh. And so they basically made it a pro Kamala thing, or statement, but it was all statements that he was talking about Tulsi. So it had nothing to do with her, but it sounded like it. And so now he's like in a huge lawsuit against them.
Yeah, like they selectively edited it, basically.
Yeah, creative editing.
See, that's the bigger threat. I don't think AI and deepfakes are going to be the threat. It's all the creative editing, because that same campaign got in trouble by manipulating Google search results and Google ads for that, making it look like prominent publications were endorsing them, but not. So I think that's, even though it's not AI generated, it's tale as old as time, just manipulating Google AdWords.
And for the record, right, like if we keep this not political, but just on topic of technology. Like it's messed up that if we all open up a browser and search for something, that we get wildly different results based off of our choices in life, right? Or if someone's trying to target us for something. I just want the truth. I don't want to be pandered to. And I think that it's been going on for a heck of a lot longer since before 2016. I can remember having this conversation with my I guess uncle-in-law, and he's like, we were both like on the phone. I was like, yeah, go to Google, type in this. And he's like, I typed it in, I don't get any of that stuff. I'm like, and that was in 2012. I mean, like that, yeah. It's been going on for a while.
That's crazy. That's truly crazy.
With the democratization of technology now, I think sites like Substack, I think, are gaining lots of popularity. People are looking for alternatives. Like you said, Brian, don't make my opinion for me. Just give me the facts and let me form my opinion, because there's lots of organizations on the left. There's fewer organizations on the right. But if you want to hear what you want to hear, then you go to Substack and you find somebody that interests you.
Do you guys think that ChatGPT is doing a pretty good job? I actually, for the record, I'm doing the paid version of it, and I do feel like I'm getting some unbiased feedback in there, or at least equally weighted from both sides. Are you guys seeing that too, or have you not gone down that rabbit hole?
I haven't looked at anything politically. I mainly use ChatGPT to automate mundane tasks. I haven't used it to look up political information, but from what I've read, and this is only from what I've read, it will refuse to generate articles on one candidate or say positive things, and it will gladly do the same thing for another candidate. I won't say which sides, but I think you can kind of figure out who's who.
So I'll give that a shot again with the paid version, see what happens.
Well, why don't you do a test and just do one with paid and one unpaid and see if you get varying results?
Yeah,
that's true. I would say that probably the biggest thing that is probably the most important part to me is that I was able to feed and train on the paid version of ChatGPT, like all of the writings I've ever done. And so now it kind of, if I ask it to do something, it will do it kind of in my tone, which is pretty
in your
impressive.
style. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I have for my main stage presentation, I put together something like this thought, right? And so then I was working it through, and I said, hey, I need, I need to put the exclamation mark at the end of this, and I'm trying to tie the beginning in with the end. And so at the very beginning, there is a joke there, but if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it, right? And so you have to really understand the context, the complexity of what I'm really saying. And sure enough, it said, hey, bringing this back to the beginning, here's this picture, right? And then it says insert laugh here, or the giggle from the audience. So I was like, damn, man, like even ChatGPT was able to qualify that what I did right, in fact, was humorous, even though it was super edgy.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we could replace you with ChatGPT
with an AI bot. Now that you trained it,
yeah,
right?
No.
I was in the style of Brian Deitch.
This is the start of them taking over the world.
Yes,
they took our jobs.
I will say that it was incredibly difficult to try to figure out how to write something that starts at the beginning, flows through the middle, and then it all comes back together at the very end. From a not technology side, so hopefully it goes over well. I do expect about half the audience to be completely lost, though, at the same time.
Well, that's like any other main stage presentation. You're going to get a certain percentage of the audience to just try to capture the most that you can and make an impact for the ones that do get it. It's the beginning of AI replacing us, like Glenn said.
No, it's not replacing me. It was just trying to... I wanted to see if he can understand my joke or not. See, he's the half of the audience that's not paying attention at all.
Who, me? What are you talking about? I'm just looking for every 10th word that comes out of your mouth, because that's probably what's good anyway.
Screw you, 10% of what he says is intelligent and coherent.
Exactly.
60% of the time, it works every time.
And a lot of time, it's F this, F that, every 10th word, right? So,
not me, not on this podcast, that's for sure.
All right, well, definitely looking forward to that one. For our second topic, Google is encroaching more into the enterprise browser features with Chrome for Android. Google announced a new feature that will redact credit card numbers, passwords, and other sensitive information when sharing or recording your screen. This is to prevent the accidental disclosure of this information when sending a screen capture or sharing your screen, like on Zoom or on Teams. I was actually once on a phone call with Dyson support, and they asked me to log in through my phone and share my screen so that they could see what I see.
So
the hell were you doing with Dyson support? They had to share your phone screen.
Yeah, your phone screen, Android phone screen. Like really?
No, on my iPhone. Like I have a Dyson air purifier. The thing was like going haywire, so I just called support. I'm like, is there anything we can do to fix it? And they told me to log in through my phone, use the camera, share the screen so that they could see exactly what I was seeing. Like the Dyson air purifier has a level that says this is the level of pollutants in your air, and mine's just like pegged at 999 for no reason. And I've done everything. I've cleaned it out. I've used the air duster. I've done everything and changed the filters. And
this coming from the guy that eats $60 worth of Taco Bell, and he's wondering why
the air quality is so bad.
Max, it's so low.
Why didn't you tell them, like, hey, just turn on the camera that you have in the air purifier to show, so that I can
So you
show
can
you
do
what
it.
you're doing inside there.
Place in front of a mirror.
Right.
Yeah.
So Glenn, is this like Me Too Motors? Like, oh great, we can do this too.
It's about time. I don't know about you, but Island's been doing this for the last 2.5+ years. So it's pretty amazing that you're just catching up now. It's kind of like what Victor tells us
He's
about.
saying you as in us, but we're not part of Google or Chrome.
No. I'm saying is when Victor compares like Android versus iOS features, right? It's like it comes out years later after the fact. This is kind of that Me Too movement as well. It's interesting. It's interesting because it's like you guys are just doing this now, and other enterprise browsers have been doing this for quite a while, specifically Island.
That's built on Google.
Yeah, it's not built on Google. It's built off of Chromium. My friend. Yeah,
Chromium's Google, isn't it?
No, it's not.
It's not the same company?
Not this. Well, no. It's open source, right? Just like saying Red Hat or Linux is part of IBM, right?
All right, fair enough. I won't dispute that. So
Okay.
if this is a cool feature, then what's a wow feature in an enterprise browser like Island then?
What's a wow feature?
Yeah. So I'm being that jerk customer's like, oh, I can already do this with enterprise Chrome. What do you got, man?
A bunch of other features and functions. So you do DLP based off of that. So being dynamic in a way that you can cut, copy, paste that information, and provide data protection based off of that is a cool feature. So it's not just, hey, can I turn a watermark on or off? But I can have different watermarks for different applications, for different URLs, or for different whatever, right? And then it's not just a copy paste from here to there, or a not allow. It's being dynamic and saying, I can copy from Salesforce to my work Gmail or Office 365, but not my personal email. Very dynamic in nature.
Oh, good job pivoting, buddy.
Yeah, you got it.
Right.
But
so
to some people, we're just browser isolation, but that's okay. I'll let them keep thinking that.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, so let's talk about the watermarking real quick. I think that probably the most commonly used thing that I say is like maybe the user's identity. Are you watermarking with anything else that you think is kind of a corner use case that's unique?
Yeah. How about watermarking with a QR code? Can you create a QR code based off of user identity, web page, web URL, user, date, time, things like that? Those are things that you could watermark.
So is that QR code a very specific moment in time? Is that what you're trying to capture right there? It was like Brian did this Tuesday, May 12th at 1:41 p.m. from this IP address. Oh, okay,
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to refute that, right? So if you take that watermark and you go, hey, Chris, you took a picture of this with your cell phone, or someone took a picture of this and you were sharing this, not necessarily you were the culprit that did that. That's pretty irrefutable.
Meanwhile, the Zstar DLP team is like opening an ER right now. Insert QR code.
But how prominent?
I will say that's actually a pretty cool one.
How prominent is that QR code? Like, could I just use a swirl filter and then obscure it?
I don't know. You'll have to find out.
Chris always coming from left field with some BS.
I know.
It's true. It's true. Like there's a story. I'm taking us a little bit off topic, but there was a story about some very bad person out there that was abusing children, and he was like bragging about it, posting photos online. But he used the swirl filter on his face, so you couldn't tell. All you knew that this was like, some tall white dude, and that was about it. And some clever, I don't know if hackers, maybe like white hat hackers, found a way to undo the swirl, and they were able to identify this scumbag because they were, the swirl follows a very predictive algorithm, and with enough AI and machine learning, you can undo it by just reversing that algorithm.
When are people gonna learn? If it's digitally done and touched, you can undo or redo what you need to do inside of that. Now I sound like Kamala, right?
When are dudes gonna stop being so creepy, man? Preying on children.
That's
like.
So his mistake was he used one swirl filter, so all he had to do was do one undo. So, but if he did a swirl clockwise and a swirl counterclockwise and a swirl clock, kind of like Triple Des did, you decrypt, you encrypt, decrypt, re-encrypt with 3 different keys. Like it makes it 3 times harder. So that was that guy's downfall. That he only used one swirl filter, which is relatively straightforward to undo.
Lazy. But dirtbag nonetheless.
Yeah, glad they caught him. Good use of technology. What are you gonna say, Brian?
Nothing. I just go on to the next topic. I feel like I took us way off course as normal with the old Q&A on like why we should buy Island. So
yeah, well, it's good that a lot of these browsers and other companies finally started to see this. This is a weak point. Like if you hit that show password button, it shows your password. Or even on iOS, like when you enter your password, you can see it 1 character at a time. So if you're recording your screen, you could decrypt someone's password just 1 letter at a time. But if you can finally just at a global level just obfuscate this, that'll make things a lot more secure that way.
You know when you should start listening to Google on Chrome is when they stop having anyone have the ability to decrypt their passwords and cookies on the fly. That's would be like step 1. Forget about watermarks, forget about everything else. Just do the basic fundamentals, Google.
Yeah. Get off your butt, Google.
Yeah. I'm sure somewhere in the terms of service of this awesome thing that they're doing, it's like, we also reserve the right to capture all credit card numbers and social security numbers and all that good stuff as well. Thank you for supporting Google.
Yeah. And by the way, it's been submitted to Amazon and everywhere else. So, yeah.
Have you guys seen the it's really clever. So let me ask this. Does either one of you ever use autofill, like when you're trying to make a payment or buying something? It's like, okay, great. So now there's this thing where you come to like a form field and it says like enter in your first name and last name, and it has the autocomplete. Those are the only 2 fields that are there. But in the background, there's a bunch of invisible fields that get automatically populated. Yeah, the hidden fields. They include your credit card number, your billing address, your social security number, TSA number, all of the above. Like, that's terrifying. So now we don't use that anymore. I think I actually talked about that at Black Hat, right?
We might have. The company was called Navistone. I specifically remember that. And that happened to me where I was browsing a site on my personal machine, but I've used my personal machine to enter my work email address at one point. And then all of a sudden, like I never subscribed to it, but I navigated to a website. And then all of a sudden I started getting marketing emails from this company I was visiting to my work email address. And I had never registered whatsoever with my work email. And then that's the only way they could have got it. It was they got the autofill information. And I never submitted it either. But they can grab the data in the field, even if it's just temporarily populated there and you never submit, they can still grab it, which is the only way they could have gotten my work email address.
Damn you, Jason.
I think you're fibbing a little bit. That was the Ashley Madison when you did that, like, the event that happened there.
With my work email.
Poor Chris. I did wonder why you were in there.
You're doing it for test, right? For test purposes.
Of course. Our customers say, can I block this? So you got to test it.
Yeah, exactly.
The answer is no. No, we cannot. Just kidding.
That actually happened. I had to create a Snapchat account because one of my customers specifically asked for some testing around Snapchat, and I was like, "Why do you have Snapchat on the phone? Isn't that app that teens use to sext each other?" I said, "Well, it's for work. It's for testing."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I have teens that are sexting each other. Is that what you're telling me right now? Oh my god.
Yes, Brian, that exists, whether you knew that or not.
Ugh.
I'll refuse to believe this. I will say my 15-year-old has no social media whatsoever still to this day. She hates it, but...
That's good.
Oh, well.
Keep it that way as long as possible.
Young person in an old soul's body. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, no, she doesn't get a choice. My wife won't let her have it.
That's a difference. She has one. You guys just don't know it.
Good on you guys for holding strong.
It's on her burner phone, Brian.
Yeah, she does not have a burner phone, trust me. With her $0 income a month, she cannot afford a burner phone.
I didn't tell you what my niece did. She didn't have a phone either. But she did is she created an account with her friend's phone.
And then go on it every time.
Bump.
Oh, yeah. They're creative.
So...
All right, for our third topic, our social security numbers have been leaked again. If you did not get caught up in the first time with Equifax, background check company National Public Data just announced they were hacked and 2.7 billion records with social security numbers have been leaked. Now, you may be thinking there are only about 3 to 400 million people living here in the U.S., so how could they have 1.7 or 2.7 billion records?
That was my first question mark, yes.
Well, there can be multiple records for the same person.
Or they're just taking the dead people. So.
That's true, yeah.
Are we talking about voters? Never mind.
Yeah.
One threat actor tried to sell the database for $3.5 million, but another leaker on the underground forum leaked the database for free.
Great.
It is believed that the aggregate database was comprised of smaller leaked databases that someone had just put together.
So, are we all freezing our credit again? I don't know. What do we do here, guys?
Yeah, pretty much. You want to freeze your credit, put a lock on it, no new accounts unless you unlock it.
Good grief.
That's the best practice, at least.
Did I tell you my son's identity got stolen?
What?
Yeah, wasn't it some 50-year-old person that tried to open a line of credit?
Well, no, it wasn't. All we know is we tried to get him a credit card, but he got turned down because he already had an account open, which was the giant red flag there. It's like, wait a second, we don't have a credit card. And then we saw that this person had actually been filing taxes under his name for years. And so when he had his first credit card open from Wells Fargo, I think they gave him a credit line of something like $7,000 for like an 18-year-old kid. Like, there's no reason why you should have that. And it was because the person that stole his identity, not only did they steal his identity, but they were actually just making good on all the promises and the payments, right? And actually boosted
built his credit already.
Yeah, they built him up really high. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So.
Usually people steal identities to defraud people, not to build someone else's credit and make payments on time.
Maybe it's honest to goodness another person's name with your son's name, or did they actually use his birth date and social security number and everything?
I think they just took the social security number. The most effed up part about this is like when you call and ask, they're like, we can't tell you anything because this is not your account.
Yeah. Even though
all right, well, I know that, but this is our
SSN,
identity.
yeah.
Yeah. And so they're like, but this is, basically it's not you. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Maybe he's in the witness protection program and the FBI messed up giving him the wrong social security number.
If I find out about who he is, then he better be in the witness protection. It's still my identity. Do some good. Jesus.
Yeah. All right. Now, it goes back to the same question we asked during the Equifax hack. Like, should everybody be putting all their eggs in one basket? And should your credit worthiness and your ability to buy a house be tied to this 9-digit number that's just probably already leaked out there?
I say no.
No. But it's almost as if, like,
Chris over here advocating for
pain.
the social credit score. All right, China.
I know.
Gotta check if you made any mean tweets lately.
Oh, jeez, Chris. We thought you were a good guy.
Not like Brian, who gets banned off X for mean tweets.
I don't have a Twitter. I don't know what you're talking about. Or an X.
Yeah, I think as long as there's money to be made, there's four. I think there's 4 credit bureaus now. There's either 4 or 5. There's the 3 majors. There's 2 like minor ones, but they don't make their money checking credit and keeping track of credit. They make their money selling your data to people that will buy it. And as long as that incentive's in place, there's no incentive for the credit bureaus to tighten up security or fix or change anything. I think I told you guys when I applied for a mortgage for my new house, I went through the normal channels. I used a mortgage broker. They ran my credit, and then just all of a sudden, out of the blue, I've probably got like 50 unsolicited offers of, hey, you're interested in a mortgage. Your rate was this. We'll beat it by 0.1 points. Come with us instead. Just all these unsolicited offers, and the only way they could have gotten that was the credit bureau sold that information to these mortgage people. It says, this person just checked their credit to get a mortgage, and that's like a hot lead for them. And all these people just coming out of the woodwork trying to get business.
How much do you think they pay? Do you think they pay the credit bureau for that, and how much? It's a lot of money.
It probably is. I mean, the mortgage origination business is really lucrative. I bet they'd pay a lot of money to get those leads. Like it's
you
one
think
thing.
They pay per hit. Like if they turn that. It's one thing to give the lead, and it's another thing to give them money based off of the turn.
Maybe it's like an AdWords thing. Like you pay a regular fee, but you also pay per click.
Yeah.
Probably because it's one thing. Like I bank with multiple banks, and I get these unsolicited offers like, hey, you can refinance or do your mortgage through us? But that's like a cold lead. But to get a hot lead of someone that just checked their credit to get a mortgage, I mean that's probably worth 100 or 1,000 times more than just some cold lead.
Yeah. There goes Chris bragging he's got a new house. There you go.
I don't think it's any secret.
Is this the one in the Hamptons or Mexico?
I know.
It's out in San Diego, my vacation home.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it's good advice. Check your credit at least once a year. By law, you're entitled to 1 free credit report per bureau every year. By law now, you can freeze and unfreeze it or put a hold on it, unhold it for free. They have to do that. They used to charge for that. That was a big scumbag move until the government said, this is stupid. Like you should not be charging people to protect their credit. So now it's free for everybody. If I remember, I'll try to put a link in to how to freeze and unfreeze it at all the credit bureaus.
So I'm sure that this particular thing has to be a scam real quick, and I'm curious what you guys think. So unsolicited phone call comes in, some mortgage company, I don't want to say their name. They're like, yeah, we'll do a refinance in your house. We'll save you, X amount of dollars. And it's a no cash refi. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. And then he's like, but it costs $550. I'm like, okay, well, like no closing costs refi. I'm all right. And he goes, and the reason why you want to do this with us is because anytime the market corrects, and if the interest rate goes down by 0.25%, then they'll just automatically refinance it back down to that new rate. I was like, man, this sounds amazing. I'm like, so if it goes back up, do you guys automatically refinance that? He goes, no, you keep it. It's like a 30-year fixed or a 20-year fixed. I'm like, so is the scam here? Because I'm trying to figure this out. Like, if I have 15 years left on it, you're going to automatically refinance me and my payment, quote unquote, goes down, but now I have a 30-year term. He goes, no, it's like whatever you guys want. Have you guys heard of this? I mean, it sounds counterintuitive to any other mortgage lender I've ever spoken to.
You're already in loan, or before you sign docs, the rates go down?
You're already in loan. Yeah. So let's say a year from now, rates come down another, 0.25%. They'll automatically give me that rate. It sounds like an arm, like a dynamic arm, but I can't believe that.
Yeah, he must not be telling you.
Down, doesn't ratchet up.
Yeah.
Seems too good to be true.
Yeah. You know what they say, if it's too good to be true.
Yeah. It must be Prisma Access.
Yeah.
Oh man. Sorry, Todd. Anyways, now I'm gonna look into it some more. But yeah, like their whole thing is like we just want to hold the life of the loan, whatever it is, right? We're tired of whatever. Like normally when you apply for a mortgage, right, you do it, and then before your first payment comes out, they've already sold the loan to somebody else.
Sorry, repackaged and sold. Yeah, it's a security.
Exactly. But their thing is they want to hold it for the term, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that is. I mean, they'll make money either way. I guess they make money. Everybody makes money on it, period, because you pay interest on it. I guess it's their deal is they want to make money and differentiate themselves, because mortgages are it's a commoditized product. I'm going to go with whoever has the lowest rate. Like, you can't offer me, Citibank doesn't offer me anything different than Wells Fargo, doesn't offer me anything different than Chase. But if I go with this XYZ company that called up that says, well, yeah, we'll ratchet your rate down every time it drops, then you're more likely to sign with them.
Yeah, but I mean, you've been doing this for how many years now? And I've never heard of that other than an arm that goes up and down, right?
Yeah.
And even on the arm, there is a limit. There's like a 3, a 5, and I think a 10. The 10 was more, the 5s were more common, right? And that's when people were flipping back then in order to catch that lower rate.
And they got completely hosed like when rates went up to 8%.
2008 housing crisis right now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'll do my due diligence and follow back up with you guys. See if this is real or it's a scam. I have a feeling it's a scam.
We'll close the loop on that one.
Take the docs to a lawyer. We'll see what they say.
Lawyer GPT.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, for our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week. This week, we're going to talk about AirPod etiquette. Last month, when I was in San Diego, we did all the usual kid-friendly attractions like San Diego Zoo and Legoland. And one trend I'm seeing more and more, and this started a while ago, but I think I just noticed it more now that I'm around the kids and other parents. I'm seeing that parents are wearing their AirPods around the kids when they're supposed to be present and engaged. Now, I can understand if you're on vacation, you drop into a Zoom meeting or an emergency work call, but it would be really hard to believe that every parent I saw on vacation was on a call trying to clean up that CrowdStrike mess. So my question to you guys is, have you seen this on your recent trips, and what do you think is going on?
Is this one like the left or right in, or both are in their ears while they're watching their kids? Just point of clarification here.
I've seen both. So I've seen it where both of them are in, and I've seen one of them are in.
Yeah. So I listen to music when I'm with the kids, but my kids are way older. But like I said, I used to just have one in my ear because I can listen to texts as they come across and respond as needed versus having to look at my phone like every 3 seconds or 5 seconds.
Well, that's what your iWatch is for, Glenn.
Yeah, but you can't get the full thread, especially the way you write. So
you're one of those. So you listen to music and listen to text messages when you're supposed to be present around your family.
But he has adult kids, though.
Yeah, I'm in a different world than you are. Yeah,
that's true.
So, but I go ahead.
I'm 100% like phone is put away and AirPods are off. Like I don't have any. The only distraction I would have is probably the watch, and that at 6 o'clock every night goes to do not disturb. So I feel like I'm kind of homed in, and it feels like a lot of my travel has been business. So I see a ton of people with AirPods and AirPod Pro Maxes and all that good stuff, but I don't think I've noticed any like parents with young kids walking around with them yet. But again, like I don't know how many people are vacationing, going to Las Vegas with their children.
Yeah. You know what I do see that's more disturbing than anything else is that a family sitting down to dinner someplace where I get wherever, and the first thing they do is they give their kids each an iPad,
yeah,
or a phone, and both parents are sitting there
down.
Eating away. Yeah, and I'm like, what is this? This is stupid.
Yeah,
so
it's like family dinner time. So it's dinner time is supposed to be family time, not shovel nutrition in your mouth, and we all go on our way time. So that's the time they're supposed to be interacting and seeing how everyone's day is. But to see it turn into both parents on their phone, both kids on their phones or their iPads, or just everyone staring down, not talking, not the way we want society to go.
That's scary. But I'll admit, I mean, I've got it in my ear because I need to do something. I need to listen to something, or if I'm bored, or if the conversation is not with me anyway. But other than that, if when the kids were younger and I was there, I didn't have that stuff stuck in my ear. So
they didn't have AirPods back then, Glenn.
Well, no, I mean, I had wired headset. You could wire them, and I would walk around, I'd tuck it in my shirt and at least listen if I had to. So yeah, but I don't think there was an announcement. Yeah,
like on a family road trip, like mom and dad be listening to like NPR or something, and we'd have our Discman with our headphones on. Like that was kind of business as usual. In the old Buick Roadmaster, I'll tell you what, that was a sweet vehicle. I was comfortable in that thing.
The good ones were.
Yeah.
The good ones were you got people, parents that have the AirPod Max on their ears and they're watching kids and doing whatever, and that's like, whoa, that's a little big, right? So
that's what she said.
When I see like a 3-year-old with AirPod Max Pros on, I'm like, all right, your parents like to burn money.
I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Or are you doing something wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just interesting. And my wife was saying, like, some of her relatives, she'll see pictures online, and the moms with the kids and the dad just has AirPods in both ears. Like, what's so important that you have to have these AirPods in? Even taking a family photo, like, you can't even bother to take them off to take a family photo
that's
or
bad.
anything.
That's bad. That's because he's talking to his girlfriend.
Show everyone.
He's talking to his girlfriend. Is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's also the good thing of separating your work phone and your personal phone, having two devices. When I was on vacation, I left the work phone behind. Like, I'm disconnected. If you need to reach me, you know how to reach me.
That is awesome. That would be a great reason to have a second phone.
I didn't even have your work phone number yet, Chris. That's crazy.
What did you say, Brian?
I don't even have your work phone number. That's crazy.
I know. That's what I mean. If you need to get a hold of me, you can hold me on my personal line, which you do have.
Yeah. So am I only slacking you if I want to talk to you work-wise?
Yep. And then you'll get me whenever I'm back at my computer, back on my work phone.
I was with somebody at Zscaler kind of high up at Black Cat, and he's like, oh man, I don't have the work phone. I was like, oh, why'd you do that, man? I was like, just throw it on there. Who cares? He's like, no. He's like, there's been a point in time in which lawyers have gotten involved, and they take your personal device if you have work stuff on there. He's like, I don't want that problem. So I just have two separate phones. I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. That
makes a lot of sense, but you got to be pretty high up there then at that point to have two phones. I don't worry about that. I don't think I'm getting called into litigation, so knock on wood.
Yeah,
that's never fun.
Wait till Google comes and knocking, talks about the QR code ID you stole from them.
Yeah, the other reason, again, drifting slightly off topic, the other reason not to have work stuff on your work MDM on your personal phone is there's this story out of Singapore where Singapore has Chromebooks and Android phones managed by MDM, and they said you could, just because you claim that we'll never wipe your device, the hacker got in, got admin access to the MDM console, wiped 13,000 devices just because.
Could you imagine ransoming that? Like, turn that into a ransom. Says, if you do not give me money, I will wipe everyone's phone. That'd be awesome. That would be a cool event. Sorry.
Giving the criminal some ideas here.
Yeah. I'm sure they've already had that idea. But that would be an instant ransom. Like, hey, man, if you don't give me the money, you're going to have a lot of people pissed at you.
Yeah. And maybe they'll give in. Maybe they'll be extorted. But if you give them too much heads up, they're just going to change the password on the MDM portal or lock you out. So I just got to do it.
Got a YOLO.
Yep, exactly. Well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week. Dad joke of the week. This week, Brian is up.
Man, I'm tired of people calling me fat. I already have enough on my plate as it is already.
Wah, wah, wah. There you go. Better than VDL. Thank you.
No setup, just a plain old statement. Like it.
Anything for you guys.
All right, to wrap things up, cyber attacks are on the rise ahead of the presidential elections. Android will redact sensitive information in screen recordings. Your social security number has been leaked. And take out your AirPods when around other people. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to our listeners and subscribers who rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-hosts Brian Deitch and Glenn Medina. I'm Chris Lee. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next weekend. As always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia.
There it is. And that's a wrap.
Have a nice day.